how does he go about approaching that, do you think? Because there's the war games, as you mentioned, economic ties, also human rights concerns, as the last story just highlighted as well. How does he balance that, do you think?
Well, it's a very difficult balancing act, and so you've really got to be incredibly careful with your language, because the Chinese examine every word you say. They look at where the commas are placed. They are absolutely terrified, I suppose is the right word, of insult. They can't. The Chinese just can't handle what they believe to be an insult, let alone one that is. And so they're so sensitive. We have to be so sensitive as well.
So what would mark the visit as a success, do you think? What does the Prime Minister need to come home with from Beijing?
Well, I mean, I think the relationship with China on trade is so important. He needs to come back to make sure that we've got no further problems with either grapes or barley or those sorts of things. He's got to try and clear the air to make sure everything is going smoothly for us, because it's just so important. If you're involved in one of those industries, then making sure that our relationship with China is as good as possible is incredibly important. And so we've got to look at those people and make sure that we do the right thing by them.
100%. Richo, we've been reporting, of course, on the war in Gaza. It's certainly intensifying in recent days. Interesting to see yesterday all living Prime Ministers, bar Paul Keating, sign that joint letter on this issue. Probably not surprising, though, to see him out of step with the others.
Yeah, well, Paul Keating tends to stand apart. I might say not just from former Prime Ministers, but from his own party on a lot of things these days. So you never know what Paul's going to come up with. And I'd rather him do what he's doing, and that is not join in than say something that might be considered contrarian.
Well, Richard, what is the Labor Party's relationship like with Paul Keating now? I mean, he's been this Labor hero for so long. What is his standing like now within the party? Well,
I think he has an anti-American bent, which is not shared by the big majority in the party. Certainly not shared by Albo, and I think that tends to set him apart and probably weaken the legacy that he might have for later. So it's something that Paul's always had. He's always had to wrestle with it, and I think these days he's not wrestling too hard. He's allowing that anti-American bent to come out more and more. And it is out of tune with Australian public opinion. There's no doubt about that.
Graham Richardson, always appreciate your analysis. Thanks for joining us.
Good on you, Ash.